Well, let me turn on the lights. There we go. I made a whole bunch of phone calls and a whole bunch of messages, and I actually got in touch with the people that do tech at Mini Meltdown. Mini Meltdown is a show I ran in 2019. I didn't pre-register. I actually just showed up the day of the event and I ran. And honestly, it was an amazingly run show. I've been to shows where the tech is hard. I've been to shows when tech is extremely easy. Honestly, Mini Meltdown tech was fair. I felt like some things that I had to remove wasn't really the best, but honestly, it was fair. What I had to remove, everybody had to remove. It was across the board fair. How they treated me there last year at Mini Meltdown was probably one of the best experiences as a driver I've ever had. Here in Ontario, a lot of the tech and the officials are kind of rude to you sometimes, and I think it's mostly because they get to know you and they kind of know what to expect. I imagine if I run a lot more shows with the same guys that promote Mini Meltdown, maybe they'd get the same way with me. But while I was there, I felt respected as a driver. When I came through tech, they explained to me what had to be cut, and that made the difference. And honestly, just the time they took to show me and explain to me why it didn't meet the rules was the reason why I actually prepaid in November, I believe it was, for a spot for 2020 Mini Meltdown. And my plan was to take this thing, the 3100 Camry, and sorry, the Illuminati is the best word for this. So I talked to them, blah, 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 showed them the motor mounts. They told me this one was okay, which is weird because that's the one I thought wouldn't be okay. They told me that this one is not okay, and the back one is not okay. They wanted to mount with the factory aluminum mounts to the sub, which is how I had this originally, but then the Ontario promoter told me I couldn't do that. He wanted them to mount to the factory Toyota mounts. So that is what I did, and unfortunately it does not pass for Mini Meltdown. So after a couple things, and he told me what I could do and what I couldn't do, I found the little blurb where the rule kind of got me on this. So unfortunately, my hopes was to run this car at Mini Meltdown, and I'm not able to. So everything in this car, other than the motor, meets Mini Meltdown rules. Maybe not the suspension. I don't know. I didn't really look that far. But there's nothing in the rules saying I can't change the suspension pieces. The shifter meets the rules. The cage meets the rules. The gas tank meets the rules. The body meets the rules. I'd have to pound the back of the trunk up a bit. That's just from jumping up there and putting the wife's tires away. I was really hoping to take this thing down to Meltdown. So then I said, well, I got a second car. Let me go show you guys the second car. I have this car. This car here is actually supposed to go to a different demolition derby that was postponed quite some time. So I said to myself, you know what, let's go to Meltdown. Let's take this thing to Meltdown, and this will be my 2020 Meltdown car. Some things that I will have to change. That will have to get a little bit narrower, and I'll have to suck it in one hole, so not a big difference. I can put a second battery into it, blah, blah, blah. I still have no threaded rod in it. I haven't cut the frame at all, so I could shorten up the frame. I still couldn't put threaded rods into it. I could come up with a lot of different things. I'm not sure if they're going to allow this motor mount this year. Last year they didn't allow it. But anyway, my plan was to take this. So I went over him what I've done to the car, and he said, yep, that car passes, blah, blah, blah. See you at Meltdown. And then I talked to my buddy today. My buddy tells me that the Canadian border is closed till one day after Meltdown. So unless they postpone Mini Meltdown, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. And that sucks. That sucks so much. So much sucking. Here I am trying to get cars running, trying to figure out where they're going to go. And Mini Meltdown was one of the shows that I really wanted to go to in 2020. It was honestly the show that I most wanted to go to. And it's just because the amount of respect I got. The tech was phenomenal. The stands was great. The food was fantastic. The people were great. The weather was nice. It's not that far away from my house. It's like maybe a 7-hour drive, 8-hour drive by the time you factor in the border. It was not that bad. And honestly, the rules are great. Like You're allowed a half-decent cage, you're allowed a shifter, you're allowed headers, you're allowed a lot of things other than threaded rod and basically pre-bending. So I like the rules, I like the promoter, I like the location, I like the food, and trust me, you guys, American food is so much better than us Canadian food. And turns out I can't go. I was really hoping for this. You know, this was one of the shows that I was really, really wanting to do. So that just puts another nail in the coffin for the 2020 year. There's even more shows canceled up here in Ontario as well. Caledon, Drayton, Owen Sound, Western Fair, Barrie Fair, Uxbridge Fair, Shawville. There's so many, it's not even worth listing, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be any demolition derbies this year, and it's just very upsetting. I'm not sure what I'm going to try to do. I've been trying to buy some Sea-Doos just to go. I'm terrified of water, just so you guys know, terrified of water, but I'm going to try to buy some Sea-Doos. I've been looking at the motorcycle a lot lately. It's running now, so it's coming along, but still looking for something to do. But I wanted to keep you guys informed on what's happening with me, what's happening with the cars, what's happening with the 2020 season. And as of right now, it's all crap. Everything's crap. So thanks for watching, guys. And I'm sorry, but as of right now, I don't think I can make it to Meltdown. I'm going to keep working on this car, get it closer to the rules. And who knows, if they open the border prematurely, you guys know I'll be heading down to Meltdown. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.